Like in Love with You by Emma R. Alban. This is a historical romance novel. I'm not much of a historical novel girly. I can read them. I have read them. They're not my favorite genre in the world. Usually, when I read something historical, it's accompanied by another genre, like a horror or some sort of supernatural fantasy element thing going on. I don't read a lot of historical romance because I'm dumb and I don't know history and I don't know any of the conventions of the time period, and I don't know what any of the dates mean, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about England. They're all set in England. I'm just an idiot. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. Every single time I read a historical book, I'm like, I don't know what period this is. Victorian, Edwardian, Regency, all the same to me. I don't know the difference. These books never explain it. I'm sure I could look it up, but I feel like that would just give me dates, and then I wouldn't remember the dates, and also the dates are just boring, and I wouldn't have any like signifiers of like what period is Victorian versus Regency and like what the difference is. I just feel like I wouldn't remember, and it's because I don't care. This isn't my genre. I'm not one of the historical girlies who like loves this shit. So I'm just dumb. And I've made peace with that. Maybe that's not the right thing to do. Maybe you should Google this stuff, but I'm just a guy. But 9 times out of 10 that shit doesn't matter. I mean, it probably does. It probably does say something about the time period. And like the people who know will know, but I don't know, and so it's fine. Usually you don't need to know that much, or you can get by with just knowing other things and missing out on part of the novel. And like the sort of commentary. I don't know. But this is just a fun little romance. You don't need to know that. I mean, it probably helps. It probably adds something. But this is a really fun romance, and this just came out. It's very contemporary. It's sort of contemporary in the language. It's contemporary in the humor. Even the way the words are written sometimes, like someone will be screaming and it'll be in all caps. This is very accessible to dumb people like me who don't know anything about history. And I feel like I say that about most historical romance novels that are written contemporarily. It's just the classics that I really can't read because they are indiscernible. Absolutely not written for a modern audience. And I don't know why anyone forces themselves to read that. They must like it. I don't know what you guys like about classics. I can't do it. But this is a fun little lesbian romance for anyone in the modern era. I liked this even though I'm not a historical novel girly. It took me about 60 pages to get into it, because boy is this just a historical novel. It's a bunch of rich people standing around talking, and then they make plans to meet up in a different location the next day and stand around and talk. And there's a lot of people. By the end of this, it didn't actually feel like that many characters, but I feel like every time I start a historical novel or I hear about a historical novel, there's just so many people, and they're all referred to as like Miss Pine, Mrs. Pine, Mr. Pine, and everyone's got the same last name. And I'm like, it's a lot of people, and we meet a lot of our characters right off the bat. So it feels like a little bit at first for me. But I was able to compartmentalize this well. We have our two main girls who I knew, and then I knew they had their parents. Really, their moms are important, their dads are important. One of them has a brother that's important, and then one of them has a group of friends that I just lumped in together as the friends mentally for my own well-being, until later on when one of them starts dating the brother, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's the one that's dating the brother, and then the other ones were just lumped together as the friends. So I kind of figured out who was important as we went along. We don't need to know everyone immediately. I'm only here for the lesbians. So that was what I focused on, and that got me through most of the book, because like most of the book is about the lesbians. But anyway, the core of this novel is really simple. We have Lady Rosalie. She is a young woman. Her mother wants her to marry this strapping young bachelor who's not that young. He's a little bit older than them, but he's not like an old man. His name is Mr. Dean. He's the most eligible bachelor in town. Lady Rosalie's mom really wants her to marry him. She does not want to marry him. She's gay. Then Lady Rosalie's mother's nemesis, former best friend slash now nemesis, has moved back to Bath, where they live, and she has a daughter who is Lady Rosalie's age. Her name is Catherine, and Catherine Pine, her mom, wants her to marry Mr. Dean because he's the most eligible bachelor, and her mom wants to get back at Rosalie's mom, so she wants her daughter to steal the man from her daughter. There's a lot of people, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So anyway, both their moms make them fight over this man that neither of them wants because they're both gay. I liked the gay panic in this. Both of these characters do have experience with same-sex relations that didn't work, or like thoughts that they've had. Neither of them are quite like, I am a lesbian, and I know this about myself very concretely, and I am never going to marry a man. They're both like, but I don't want to marry Mr. Dean. He's boring. All he talks about is himself. There's a funny line where he's going off on a tangent about like a vacation he took, and they're like not even paying attention. And then they start paying attention again, and he's still talking about it. And one of the lines is like, and he's still talking about it, all caps. It's like, that's funny. That's a very contemporary writing style. Again, very approachable if you're dumb like me. So they're not like super, super duper gay, but they know they're gay. And they have little gay moments where they're like trying to downplay the gayness. One of them will look at the other's chest area and be like, I just really like the frills on the décolletage. They're meant to look nice so that I look at them. Ladies, is it gay to look at another lady's boobs? I don't think so. But it in fact turns out that it is a little gay to look at another woman's boobs. They kind of pick up on the fact that they are attracted to one another. And then there's sort of underlying tension for a good while. I really like the build up here. Like, the sexual tension is really nice. Where they're, like, pretty sure that the other one is flirting with them, but, like, they don't want to assume. And, of course, if they make a wrong assumption, and this becomes a big thing, that's gonna ruin their reputation. And they can't have that because, again, the one lady's mom got her reputation ruined, and that's why she had to move away, and now she's coming back. That's a whole thing. I wasn't that interested in the mom's argument. I was for a little bit because I thought, are they gay? Were they secret lovers? And then it didn't work out, and one of them had to move away, and they had to marry men. And I won't spoil anything, but you could read it as if that was part of what happened. That's not the whole story. The main part of the story is boring, and it's just boring historical drama that you kind of expect. But with straight people, except were they straight, I think the moms could have had a thing. I kind of ship the moms. Sort of headcanon-y. Maybe crumbs. I think there's canonical breadcrumbs that I was meant to pick up on. But it's not, like, explicitly stated that the moms were also maybe an item. That's a storyline that has a bigger role in, like, the later parts of the novel. The beginning of the novel is them meeting each other and sort of developing a friendship, even though their moms don't like each other. And they're not supposed to be friends, they're supposed to be competing. But they just get along so well, and they have a lot of the same interests. And they're both, like, funny, they have the same sense of humor. And they fit in with, like, the same group of friends. And so it just works, and they're flirting. And I really like those moments of build-up flirting were really good. And every scene where they were plotting to be together were, like, the best scenes. Because every once in a while they'd, have to split up. They'd see each other at some event, and then they'd go home and talk to their parents or their brother or whoever, and I'm like, I don't care about the other people, give me the lesbians. And then I'd come back and I'd be like, yes, the lesbians. I liked their flirting. I liked sort of the setups of it, where they're at a painting competition class event, and they're sort of painting each other, even though they're not supposed to be. Or they keep looking at each other over the paintings. Or they go to the theater, and they're in, like, balcony seats across from each other. And so they're, like, communicating with their eyes and, like, looking over at people and making each other laugh that way. And those were really nice. I really like those moments where they find moments to be together, or find moments in a group to sort of split off and then go have a private conversation, even though they're not supposed to be talking. The flirting is really nice, and, like, the longing and the sexual tension, and then there is spice in this. That's pretty good. I think it earns it. I like them as a couple. They're cute. And then the back half of the novel is them as a couple, but you just still have this man on the table. And presumably they both will have to marry a man at some point. And, like, what do they do? Do they forego all tradition and try to find a way to be together? Or do they just marry men and sneak around? What do they do? Pretty classic gay historical stuff. Nothing, like, totally groundbreaking there, except... Okay, I will get into spoilers. I said I wouldn't spoil anything for tonight. I mean, I kind of said spoilers with the mom thing anyway. Whatever. Now we have spoilers for, like, the end resolution. If you care about spoilers for a romance novel, which I, like, never do, they're gonna end up happily ever after, in some capacity. It's just the details of what that happily ever after looks like that's different between novel to novel. But they do get to be together, and they basically just come out to their families, and their families are cool because it's a contemporary novel, and it's just kind of fun and funny and lighthearted, and it's not meant to be overly serious or over dramatic. It's a historical romance for the modern day. They get to come out, and all of their family is basically accepting, or even the people who have reservations are like, but I still love you and I want you to be happy, and so, do what you want. So they find a way to sort of secretly be together, but not secretly. They live together. They're able to do this because they're all rich. That was something that struck me. Rosalie has an older brother who will inherit everything and will be super rich and is also super nice. And he knows Rosalie's queer and like sees her and Catherine flirting and like helps them. And he's on her side the whole book, so she doesn't even have to come out to him. And he's just like, you can live with me forever. Like, I'm your rich brother. Like, you can just live in my mansion with me. Actually, I have 2 mansions. I'll go live at the northern estate, and you guys can just stay here and live in this house forever and ever. Who cares? And then Rosalie's aunt is like, no, come live in the countryside in my mansion with me. So that's what they end up doing. Is they're gonna go live with her, presumably until she dies, and then someone inherits that estate, and then they can just go live with the brother forever. Because they're all rich. This would be a completely different book if these were normal people. And it did get me thinking about how, like, every historical novel is about, like, the 10% of rich people. It's never about, like, the common folks. Or if it is, it's about a common folk who falls in love with a rich person and then becomes rich and enjoys the luxury that being rich provides them. And again, throughout this whole book, all of these people are just like, let's have tea tomorrow. Or next week we're doing a painting class. Come to the painting class. Come to the theater with us. They're just like meeting to like talk because none of them have anything to do ever. Because they're just rich women. And even with like the brother, like he's not in charge of the estate yet. He doesn't have anything to do yet. Not really. Like he goes to school. But yeah, they're just rich, living life on easy mode, and like that's nice. They can just stay with any number of relatives. All they ever needed was one relative to be like, yeah, I don't care. You guys can just come live in my mansion and no one will think twice about it because we're related. And of course you have a friend. Like ladies just need friends. It's not gay to live with your female companion. So they actually just have so many options to be together and be happy and rich. And that did make me a little bit better. Not for the book's fault. The book's just a happy, fun time. Good for them. But I was like, damn, wouldn't that be nice to just have, a spare family mansion? Just go live in the spare mansion. Who cares? And, like, literally their worst problem is that, like, I don't know, they might be scandalous. There might be gossip around town about them. But, like, they're rich. It's not like that negative gossiping would make their families disinherit them. Because their families don't care. So, like, they just be rich. Like, worst case scenarios, they're just, like, outcast loners, and they don't have any friends. Except their friends are also in on it. Their friends help them get together and, like, plan secret meetups when they're not allowed to talk to each other because their moms hate each other. So they would still have friends. But, I mean, so literally their worst case scenarios, I don't know, they have, like, 3 friends, and a mansion, and no jobs, and all the money in the world, and servants, and, that sounds terrible. What a sad life these children could have had. They're not children. They get it on. This is an adult romance novel. But they're younger than me. And they have fewer problems than me. Oh, I do have, I don't know, running water. Did they have running water in the 1800s? I don't know. I mean, I've got, like, antibiotics. I guess I'll take that. I guess I'll take somewhat better healthcare. I am in the US, so somewhat better healthcare knowledge, if not access, because these guys are rich. They could just afford all the healthcare they want. It's probably not good healthcare in 1817 when this book takes place, but they could afford it. That sounds nice. I love that for them. But that's about it. It's a straightforward romance novel. It's really fun. It's really funny. It's easy to get into, except, like, at the beginning. It did take me a minute to get into, actually, but once you're in it, you're in it. You like the characters. Everyone's really nice and fun and interesting. And even people like Mr. Dean, who aren't fun, are sort of fun to mock, or fun to hate, and he's just like some boring guy, so you don't even like hate him. It's just a fun time. I know Emma R. Alban has some other lesbian historical romance novels. Like a Best Friend, or Want You Like a Best Friend, or Don't Want You Like a Best Friend. I think that's what it is. Whatever it is, I'll read that one. So I liked this author. I like this book. Also, like this physical book, delightfully floppy. Like as a physical object, I didn't have to break this in at all. It was just like deliciously loose. Nothing should be described as deliciously loose, but that's what it is. It's excellent flop. Good page sizes, really readable. It's a good physical object. I don't really know anything about book printing. I was gonna talk about like the quality of the paper. Maybe it's like scratchy. You know how there's like different textures on books? I don't know all the textures. I don't know if this is my favorite, but like it held up well. It's not like all beat up just because I read it one time. That literally does not matter. But I loved the flop. The flop was noteworthy. But yeah, good book. Good little historical novel. I'm still not a historical novel girly, but I like a lesbian romance, and I'll read more historical novels because I'm on a mission to read every single book about lesbians, and that includes the old timey lesbians. So yeah, check this out if you're into historical romance.